ISO situation, guys. I put out a thread over the weekend basically explaining why ISO20022 will have a dramatic impact on crypto. The main reason is you have to understand what these standards actually are, guys. And I spent the majority of Saturday reading a particular document, and I'll put the link to this document in the description, guys. I still got to email it to a couple people. If you want me to email it to you, of course, you know what to do. Shoot me an email and you know I got you. But reading this document, guys, I learned what the core reason is. The main reason why ISO will have such a dramatic impact. It simply boils down to what these standards are. These are new financial standards that institutions will use to transact information from a wide variety of sources. Currently, ISO standards are already being used and have been since the early 2000s. It was actually Swift that gave us the ISO that we see today. We see that ISO has been here. We've already been using ISO, and 9 times out of 10, there are more ISO compliant cryptos in this ecosystem that we just aren't aware of. But this information is going to allow you to pinpoint each and every one, guys, because when you're dealing with ISO, every financial transaction comes with a set of codes. These codes are what allow your requests for money from your bank to be read by your bank in the same way. For example, when you request $500, they give you $500. Or when you're outside of your local area and you go to use an ATM, these are codes that communicate from that ATM back to your home bank. If everything matches up, then your funds become available. If at any point that doesn't happen, then we all get that dreadful card decline message when we go to buy something. This is what's going on behind the scenes every time a financial transaction occurs. And I mean everyone, okay? And as we go through the thread, guys, you know I have the link down in the episode guide, but what you'll see is that there are a number of codes, okay? And we can see here ISO20022 was one of the first. After it says, let me see, ISO7775, which was the original. All right, and we're talking pre-1998 here. So ISO has been around, and you'll understand that in the financial world, now that we're digitized, guys, the computer processing side, that's what makes ISO so important. And with all of these crypto companies mainly conducting their business online, Web3, right? All of these projects, if they look to do financial businesses, financial transactions, they have to be able to read these coming ISO messages. And what these messages are going to do, guys, is simply they're going to uniform the language and make it universal. So that way, all of these different codes that you see here, and you can see that there are some for settlements and trades. That's very important because the stories that we're going to cover in this video, that's why I led with this, because this is a great primer. Okay. But you'll see that in every aspect of finance, these codes are what's going on behind the scenes. And if any of these crypto companies wish to continue in the payments field, in the field of finance, cross-border payments, remittances, whatever you want to call it, CBDCs, these messages have to be compatible with their blockchain. That is what makes it so important. Okay, it's not as if ISO is some kind of cabal of elite corporations that these blockchain projects have to be a part of. And I'm glad this payments part popped up right here, guys. For example, XRP, XLM, XDC, they focus on cross-border payments, but they also offer services that are similar to FSPs or financial service providers. We're talking wallets and decentralized apps. If they look to compete in the next era, the blockchain must be able to read ISO messaging, guys. So as you can see here in the payments description, if a crypto project is doing any of these actions, customer to bank payment, bank to bank, clearing and settlement, reporting, cash management, All of these activities require ISO messaging. Again, we got situations like Stellar Lumens. News just broke this morning. They're now integrating USDC to fiat trading on the Stellar blockchain thanks to MoneyGram. How are they able to do this? Is because Stellar's blockchain can pick up on the current ISO messaging that will allow the financial institution such as Circle or your bank to communicate with each other. That's what's going to make it so massive, guys. So it's not, again, it's not a thing where ISO20022 is a cabal of companies that are issuing in the fourth industrial revolution. That may be what it feels like on the surface. But once you get down into it, guys, it's just codes. We're just talking about codes here. Okay. And it's the reading of these codes, being compatible with these codes, that will allow blockchains of the future to work with these standards. Okay. And if they don't, and I make a point in this thread, a great comparison to OSHA standards, you don't see your company that you work for abiding by OSHA standards, but we've all gone through the training where they said, hey, we have to do this because it's an OSHA mandate, right? The exact same thing is what will happen when ISO goes fully online. If you go to build a new financial product or a new blockchain that's focused on payments, and your blockchain does not have the compatibility to read ISO messaging, and ISO messaging is the predominant standard when it comes to financial activity, you're not getting in there. Point blank, period. So that is why crypto will be dramatically affected from this ISO transition, guys. Wanted to get that out there. Again, links will be in the episode guide, but it's a